Hey, what's up? Just making a little update video. Tonight I was kind of deciding whether I wanted to go to the Hard Rock or just go to one of my other local casinos. Hard Rock definitely has a lot of merit because sorry, I was distracted by that guy on the fucking bike, man. Motorcycle's fucking awesome, man. Anyway, Hard Rock has a lot of merit to going to it because when you go to the Hard Rock, and I'm talking about the one in Hollywood, Florida, you never have to wait for a table, you know, and if you do, it's open within like a matter of seconds. Like, that is probably the biggest poker room, I'd say, in South Florida. And not only the biggest, but, you know, I mean, obviously, like, the most packed. So, and they also have better high hands. The place I'm going to, they don't really have any type. They do have high hands, but like they used to be a really great casino. It used to give out free hotel rooms and all that stuff, but it just stopped doing one thing after another. Like, the free drinks went, the hotel rooms went, like the progressive jackpots, they went, and everything, like, little by little by little, just like started to kind of like decay and fade away, which is really sad. But I mean, the competition in there is really soft, and so there's that aspect of why I want to go. And for, you know, even like more obvious kind of like reasons, it's extremely close to where I live, so driving there is, you know, it's no work at all. This is the night right after the video I posted. I think I posted it today, but it was a video of that guy who was calling me gringo. I got my Cuban flag on this time. maybe it'll deter him, you know, a little bit this time. I have my Cuban flag. I got my little Cuban bracelets. I don't know. I mean, I got Cuban girlfriends, you know, so I'm one with the culture, you know. I am one with the culture. Tonight, thinking about just having like a few hour session night, nothing too long, but like I always like try and make these plans beforehand, but it honestly just like comes down to feeling. And I'm a poker player. If I don't feel like playing or doing something, we don't do it, you know. We're very lazy creatures. But if for some reason when we're playing poker, like, we tend, even the fattest poker player will have like incredible endurance, especially when they're down money. They'll just stay at that table until they either win their money back, or they're just kind of like all the money in their wallet's gone, or they're just tired of taking out money from the ATM. And like, if I'm taking out, I never really take out money from the ATM because I generally carry around like 3,000 to 4,000 on me, so I'm never going to those fucking ATMs and supporting like that $4 surcharge. I mean, I've done it. Hey, don't get me wrong, I've been on tilt and I've paid some really high fucking surcharges. So like, I'm like thinking to myself, like, fuck, I'm already down like 500, and I take out another like 1,000 and they're charging me like $22. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm already down $22 and I haven't gotten back to the table. Like, now I'm down $522. Anyway, I'm trying to think of some interesting hands I played. I guess just to kind of like talk about something until I get to the mix. This hand was a while back, and it was against a professional, a very, you know, good player. He reminds me a lot of me, and so like the thing is, I do approach him cautiously, but at the same time, I recognize so many things that he does that playing against him is almost like playing against myself, so I have a very good read. But there's still like a lot of things that I personally believe that his game lacks. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was against him, and like me and him kind of have like a grudge match. You know, I've just run so good against him, but not even that. Like, as you're gonna see in this hand, like a lot of the crucial spots, like I outplayed him. I had a hand. It was Queen 4, And just to kind of like let you decide, I'm not going to tell you his hand right away. So I had queen 4, and the flop comes queen 9-9. There was a raise of 30 pre-flop, and there was a couple of limpers who called a straddle, so the pot was around 70. And so against any other type of player, I probably would have checked and then gone for value, like on either just like one shoot of value, because the pot is already kind of bloated for a 1-2 game, like $70 pre, and you know, heads up. So, and just even kind of erred on the safe side. But with him, he checked over to me, and I'm putting his range ace king, tens or jacks, and I could kind of like safely put his range there. And it kind of came to the point where I'm like, I can also kind of safely put his range on queen jack and queen king. But so anyway, I'm just gonna kind of like tell you how the pot progressed. So he checked it over to me, and like I said, I would probably just either make a tiny value bet there, a check, and then bet turn. But for him, I need to play deceptive, and I need to put him in a very uncomfortable spot. The board was paired with 9s, and something very deceptive I would do if he had a raising pre-flop range, like he could have kings, aces, and if I did flop at 9 and I kind of knew he had that range, I would overbet just like I did. So I made it around 90, and I'm a very exploitative player. So I knew right after I bet that he didn't have aces or kings, and he didn't have a 9, and he tens, jacks are like 90%, and then like a queen jack is like a definite possibility. You know, queen jack became a real possibility at that point. But he was shifting in his seat, and when you see someone shifting in their seat, it's because they're uncomfortable. They're shifting because they're uncomfortable. And once I saw that, I knew no matter what he had, I could blow him off the turn, or I can get him to make some really big hero call. And so he called, and I'm still feeling pretty confident about my hand. And for all intents and purposes, the turn came a deuce. And then he checked over to me, and I still thought that I have the best hand, and I went all in for another 300. So another overbet. I overbet the pot this time by like, I think 100 or so, maybe like 60 or 70. And he went deep into the tank, noticeably uncomfortable. You know, he is definitely not liking the situation that's going in front of him, and I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, yeah. And the first like 2 minutes he was tanking, I'm just like, all right, he's got fucking tens or jacks. He must have tens or jacks. But then he started tanking a little bit longer. He was probably in the tank for a good 5 minutes. I'm just sitting there every single time in a pot against him. I have the same face. I'm just staring down at the river card. That's I mean, at one of the cards, and I leave my hands out in front of me, and I don't do anything different. And so it's like my physical tells are very small, but the guy kind of had a feeling something was up, and he's kind of smart enough to know that I'm smart enough to take it to the next level and overbet with a made hand, like i.e. like a 9 in that position. So he kind of said, like, you know, I feel like you have it, and he folded his hand. And you know, I figured it out by around the 3-minute mark that I no longer had the best hand, and I was going to be drawing to maybe like 10 outs tops, and it was going to be a 10 outs to chop, not 10 outs to win, because he had queen jack, one of the hands that I put him on that I really didn't want him to have. But at the same time, based on my line, I came to the conclusion that even if he had a king queen or queen jack, he was going to fold those hands. And ace queen, maybe, because it is a large amount of big blinds to be risking relative to the pot, being that I overbet it. But he did have queen jack, so, you know, he had a pretty nice free roll if he were to have called, but he didn't call. And these are the kind of situations I put myself in regularly by determining people's range. And by doing that, I ended up, you know, winning a pretty decent sized pot. And this guy just like, he just like, even after the next pot that we played, he's just like, oh, I guess you just have my number. Like, I'm clearly getting under this guy's skin pretty bad. Because I mean, I've just outplayed him, and all the times he's ever had made hands against me, I don't know, like, I don't want to, you know, he kind of just gives it away. I don't want to say what he does, because in case he watches this one day, and he knows who I am. He knows I'm probably talking about him. But yeah, it's very easy to kind of deduce what he has, and when I'm playing against him, there's some exploitative stuff going on, but he's pretty good at hiding all that stuff too. So it's a very mathematical plane that we're playing on, and it's very fun to play against him. Not just because I win, just because he is a tenured opponent. But I think, you know, the thing that like separates a lot of poker players in my mind is that, like, yeah, you can understand the math, you can understand some of the reads, but it's the poker players who really have the conviction to like make those overbets and those gigantic bluffs and those gigantic calls that really, really separates them for the entire field. And that's what I strive to be every day. That's what I try and improve on. All right, I got here. I'll make another video soon, but bye for now. Toodles.